las bandas más esperadas del día de hoy. Estoy con Joe de GOJIRA. Welcome!
Thank you very much.
Headliner this time. How does it feel? You seem to be headlining in every big festival.
It's happening, yeah. It's
Finally, no?
finally, yes. I mean, it's not mandatory to in a career to headline, but when you do, it's kind of nice. We've been trying really hard, though. You know, we're improving our production and our songs and albums, and we give our best on stage. Of course, we appreciate, you know, getting higher on the bill. That's I cannot lie about that.
It's a nice recognition to all your effort.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're not going spiritually again or going like very like about wisdom. Let's try to do we were talking about like really deep things about out of camera. Anyway, 5 years it took from Magma to Fortitude. 5 years, that's a long time. So how you feeling about this new album?
To me, I feel like it really took 3 years because when the pandemic hit, we were ready to release our album almost. We were in the process of mixing it. But yes, it did take a long time. We had plans to release it sooner, but then we decided to hold on to it because we were hoping the thing would pass in 6 months and blah, blah, blah. You know the story. I think half of the bands on the planet went through this. We're about to release an album or just released an album. We were lucky enough that it wasn't in stores yet, you know what I mean? Because you want to be able to go and tour and defend your music that you just put out. Yeah.
So, well, it was a good choice.
So I have a good reason for the 5 years wait, but I have to say in general, it's true we take a long time between albums because we don't want to record something that is tired or uninspired. We want to write something when it's something in us is ready to explode. That's when it's interesting.
I must say it's a really powerful album. It's very, very powerful. I shouldn't say this, but to me, I think it's one of your best albums from all time. I'm probably you will agree on that because artists always says, "Oh, my last album is the best one," right?
I'm not allowed to say it's not the best album in the world.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding, but we put everything we have in every release because that's what we do. We sacrificed a lot during all these years, and we play heavy metal. We're not trying to conquer the disco clubs, you know what I mean? We're not doing catchy tunes or anything. Yeah, we have a message. This music is a statement. It's rebellion. It's thunder. You know, it takes time to craft it and to throw it, and when you do, you gotta believe in it. I cannot imagine releasing an album not thinking it's our best.
That's good. There's a very special song on it, which is Amazonia. And I want you to tell everybody what's going on behind that song, because it's also, you've been collaborating with Epi in Brazil. And that's amazing. And I don't know if everybody knows about that. And I want you to tell them, and also tell the audience how to support that cause, because it's extremely important. You know, it's our planet, it's our home, and I think it's a great job what you're doing.
Thank you. When we released Amazonia, Amazonia was the second song that we released officially, because Another World was actually released 2 years ago already. So technically it's the third song that we released. And we decided to do something to bring our support to the indigenous communities of the Amazon forest. And a lot of metalheads heard about it because it's a small community. So a lot of people heard about the charity / auction that we put together. It was an adventure. It was long and a lot of work to contact all these artists and get them to send a guitar or snare or a picture, anything really, to raise money. And we were able to raise more than $300,000 for the indigenous communities of Brazil that live in the Amazon forest. And of course, it's not enough to just raise money. You have to know what you're doing and who you're giving to. So that was also a big challenge. So we decided to give it to APIBI, which is the most important NGO owned by indigenous people. And their leader is Sonia Guajajara, and she's doing a great job to speak up and defend their rights. I say she's doing a great job, she's doing her best, but their lives are at stake as we speak. Bolsonaro is still pushing the farmers, industrial farmers, and the meat industry to destroy as much forest as possible for more profit. And I know it sounds crazy, it sounds like we're in a movie with a bad guy, but it's really what's happening. So I don't have the luxury to work full-time on this matter, but I am in touch with activists that are on the ground, and some leaders of these communities that I've met and became friends with. There's ways to help. I think the first way to help is to try to behave as a consumer and think what you're buying. And this is a huge pain in the ass. I realize when I say that to people, they kind of turn down. They're like, can I just sign a petition already or send money to somebody? Unfortunately, it's a little more complicated than that. And I think the key is to adapt our way of life, and not just for the Amazon, for
everything, the world.
For everything. You don't want to give your money to somebody who's harming people, animals, or the planet. So I would say, I'm about to be the biggest party pooper of the Resurrection Festival today, but reduce your consumption of meat, number one. A lot of the meat comes from the Amazon forest, so quit that stuff or reduce and pick what you're buying. If you're going to buy meat, try to do it more responsibly than just going for the cheap stuff and eat meat every day. Maybe if you can't cut it, eat it sometimes, but make sure it comes from a better source than the Amazonian land that should be for trees. Yeah.
I also went there to see what everything was going on, and that one might be like an amazing experience. But also you got baptism. Baptized,
yes.
Baptized, sorry.
But the indigenous way, they don't.
Might be. Oh my God, that might be amazing. That's a unique experience, actually. That they include you. On the culture that way.
Well, that was a life-changing experience for sure, to meet people that are on a totally different level. And although I knew it and I was documented and interested, and I felt a connection already with all these people, of course, like every single hippie on the planet. Oh yeah, sure, indigenous are great, but when you go there and you see how they live and how far off we are, their way of life they struck me as content. I had an impression that they had everything they needed. The only thing they need is for us to not take it away from them. They're not the polluters. They're
the ones who saving the environment. They're the ones that respect the environment.
They are the guardians of the forest, and they're happy in the forest. They admire the forest, and they're absolutely amazing people. And they're getting killed and robbed, and their houses are getting burnt, and they're bullied around in a terrible landscape of desolation. All of this is very demoralizing and sad, but I think our music is a tool to convey a message with joy also, because music is joy, music is power, music is celebration. But we can't help but putting that stuff in our music, the things that we think matter, because we're only here for a few decades and then we go, and what are we going to do with our lives? Maybe something at least that we think is positive,
Sort of legacy, maybe, leave a legacy to your kids, you give a better world, maybe. But this is the thing, it's like right now we're living in a time that everything is around the world. No matter where you see it, like this chaos. Everything is in chaos right now, and it's so much things going on that are wrong. And you guys are always very committed to different causes. In this case, it was in Amazonia. And what's next? What's the next cause that you're gonna go to support, and you're gonna try to, give awareness to all your fans?
It depends on our inspiration and the amount of energy in the tank. Also, you need to have energy to tackle some extra things that are extra. It's almost putting extra hours, so to speak. With our already busy schedule, we also family guys. We have families, so that's very demanding. That only could take our entire time. And then going on tour. So we will never stop, representing what's good in this world, what we think is good in this world, and try to come up with song titles, melodies, rhythms, lyrics that can inspire people. But our priority is concentrate on the music. It's if something comes up and we feel the time and energy, will surely do something.
There was something I was reading on the internet, like the cover of the latest album. There was so many people comparing it with Emperor of Sand from Mastodon. It has something to do. Can we clarify that you didn't, a copycat?
No. So I gotta say this: it's possible that we ripped off Mastodon unconsciously. And unconsciously, because I did the cover, and I remember I was really with the idea of the Knights of the Round Table and the indigenous culture, and I wanted to do a mix of that. And then after the album was released, I saw a comment of somebody comparing, and then I'm like, that's bullshit. And then I took the Mastodon cover and our cover, and I'm like, shit, it does look similar. It's true. And it's not the first time it happens. The Whale.
You know that they're playing now, right?
Oh,
And they're next to your room, like that next dressing room to you.
I
Hope there's no problems there, right?
I am a huge Mastodon fan, and we're good friends, and I know all their songs.
Okay.
I'm a fan. So yeah, maybe somehow Emperor of Sand sneaked in on our cover, but hey, whatever.
I know, I love it, but I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, it looks familiar.
Very familiar.
Very familiar. And then it's like, and then I started, looking into it on internet, and it seems I was not the only person who felt that way. I was like, okay, we need to clarify this. So thank you for doing it.
Oops. Sorry.
So, last question, so I'll let you go. Last time you were here was 2019.
Yes.
And I asked you which were your favorite Spanish bands, and you mentioned Hamlet and you mentioned Tundra. Tundra's playing before you guys play. Are you gonna go and watch the show?
Well, we're headlining. It's a lot of pressure.
I know.
I saw Tundra's on the list, and there's great bands playing tonight, and I would have loved to watch them all, but I have to pick my battles. Am I going to give my best on stage? Then I have to be like a vegetable all day. That's ridiculous. Come on.
Okay. John, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Was so good to have you again here, and
My
you're part
pleasure.
of the family already, so
That's awesome.
thank you.
Go home. Thank you.
Okay. This was Joe Shadia for Resurrection Festival 2022.